Hello, true believers. Happy Friday night. Back here for a second time uh, this week. I don't know how it was supposed to come out. Because I had my EMDR session last night with my psychiatrist, and I really needed to talk about a repressed memory that hit me kind of hard earlier this week and had really just jacked up my overall psyche. I was lashing out, very withdrawn, a few steps backwards. Um, and I was just trying to make it to yesterday too, that I knew I'd talked to Dr. Davis. Uh, Told her about the memory. We peeled it back in the EMDR session. It was a doozy. It was enough that she was like, for your own sanity, just put this away, not push it down, but put it away till next week when we can deal with it. I don't want you overthinking. She knows me well, overthinking the memory and everything, and we dealt with it. And I was able to pull back some more surrounding the actual memory, because when I get the PTSD and I get stuck in those moments, it's very time specific, and I have trouble remembering the before or afterward, but the actual trauma itself, I live in that moment. It was a good session. I left feeling accomplished. I left feeling a hell of a lot better than I felt going into it. I One of the things she told me to work on, with knowing that I was probably going to think about it. She said at least put it away for a few days, and if I did think about it before seeing her next Thursday, one of the tools I should use is when I'm there, just keep telling myself, um, I'm not at fault. I'm not at fault. It's not my fault. And I did a little of that yesterday because we had a session after the EMDR. She really wanted to talk about it more, and when I was recalling it, she just kept saying, kept telling myself, I'm not there. I'm not there. It's not my fault. And that helped a great deal, to be very honest. Um, it's one of those memories that really shatters the foundation of the little bit of safe haven I had as going through my traumatic childhood. So that's really why it had me shaken up. Another thing is this whole repressed memory thing is just sort of well, it's new, and the hard part is, you've gone through hell, you've survived hell, and then you kind of get your world thrown upside down to find out there were deeper levels of hell that you went through. And I guess for some people you'd feel like, wow, I really survived that. But for me, I kind of feel like, well, damn, did I have a happy moment then? Like, if if the hell that I remember was hell enough, and now I'm finding out I repressed some really horrific things. Geez. And I'm not at that point of feeling proud of myself for surviving and thriving. I'm at the point where I'm trying to disassemble the hold on me that these traumatic issues happen, as well as stop current and future uh, verbal and not let physical abuse happen to me from those same people as an adult. So it's a two-part thing. She feels, and I do agree with her, I've gotten a good handle of present and future situations dealing with family. Now it's an issue of dealing with the stuff that I've gone through. The weird thing is, you always hear people saying, "Oh, I have regrets, and I wish I could go back in time and change this or change this, and I would do this different." All the trauma I've lived through, it's gonna sound weird. I wouldn't change it. Not because I'm sadistic by any stretch of the imagination. It's because if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't be here. Now I wouldn't be married to Damari, who I love, obviously. If I haven't spoken enough about her, we just celebrated our 20 year 20. Sorry, on the 20th, we celebrated our 12-year wedding anniversary. Um, this January, we will have been together total for 15 years. Um, if I wasn't here, we wouldn't have our four wonderful children. And I am very thankful for them and the opportunity to the opportunity to have the blessing to be their father. I absolutely love that. I take pride in that. I take pride in being an active dad in their lives. I take pride in being an active husband in my wife's life. So without those, I'm not here. Uh, so I don't know how much I want to rewrite history because I don't want to undo my present right now. Okay, getting off my soapbox. So the hard part this week is just, like I said, it's jacked me up. My wife has been wonderful. She's given me space, allowed me to be me, because I've been sort of in flux, confused, shut down, angry, and just really not understanding everything. I'm thankful for her. My dear, what I call my family, Nora, Gabriella, and Candace, have also been wonderful support system that I've been able to vent to. And I don't know how many people have truly non-judgmental, would take a bullet, would jump on a grenade, would hurt anybody that hurts you, people in their life. And I'm blessed to have the three of them and my wife. Uh, that's pretty cool. I don't take that for granted at all. So I send another thank you to them. This was a really traumatic, and this was a 10 on the trauma level, that when Dr. Davis is asking me the questions as far as this repressed memory. And we finally got to the bottom of it, and it just, the feeling at the bottom of it, of why it really shook me to the core, was that I had this memory and being stuck in it. I don't know if I'm going to explain this correctly, so forgive me. Was that the little bit of a lifeboat I thought I had during my childhood was sort of shattered, and I was really feeling alone at that particular time, and having to deal with that surfacing. Dr. Davis and a few other people who've talked to me have really said, your brain starts giving up repressed memories because it knows you're ready to handle them. Otherwise, it keeps them locked up. I think that's cool, but I could use a little break in between revealed repressed memories, because at this point I'm kind of going on one a week since the EMDR has started. But at the same time, I know the big picture. The big picture is me being healthy, and like I said, that's why I'm very public about this, about my diagnosis. Just the same way, if you go to any of my social media, I post videos of my workouts every day. I don't want anyone to ever think they're going through something alone. And at the same time, I'll always put a hashtag not ashamed. I'm not ashamed to be in a gym. By the way, I don't know if y'all can see right here and right here and right here. That's from the heavy bag today, which apparently I also dented, but I didn't know that I had these cuts. And if you can tell, the bottom of my palms are still red. I worked out at 9:30 this morning. It is 8:27 Eastern Standard Time, for you people that think Kentucky isn't on Standard Time. Actually, half of Kentucky is Standard, the other half Central. So we're talking 11 hours later, hands are still red. Truthfully, my hands don't hurt. I didn't know they were cut till I took my wrap gloves off, and I looked down and I was like, oh, and finished working out. I took some aggression out on the heavy bag. Dented it once. I knocked it off its hinge. So, but I felt great after I was done. I felt great during the session. I have a new boxing workout training regimen I'm doing, and 3 days a week. I'm speed bag and heavy bag and shadow boxing. Love it. Um, and it couldn't have come at a better time the day after easily my most difficult EMDR session with the psychiatrist. Uh, but I mean, it's hard when you look back and when you have these repressed memories that come back, and that's the other thing. It's not just like a normal memory. I mean, that's part of the PTSD um, encompassing issue is it comes back and you are in it. It doesn't just come back like, oh yeah, I had that for lunch the other day. No, it is literally like the Matrix. When they plug, if you think of the original movie, when they plug someone in and you see the world sort of shoot by them and then stop, and they were implanted in the Matrix, that's what it feels like. That is exactly what it feels like when a repressed, and I'm getting goosebumps. That's y'all can see. I'm getting goosebumps now, um, saying that because that's exactly what it is. It isn't just a memory like, oh yeah, I remember when that happened. It is, and you are thrust in the middle of it, and not only you thrust in the middle of it, you were thrust in the middle of it at the age you were at the time. For me, that's very young. That's this particular one. I was 9.5. So I mean, these are young ages that you are just stuck, and the sights, the sounds, the smells, the time on the clock. What would just like right now, I can look around and see these things in the present tense. I can still be looking at you still, and I am just there. And more than that, the feelings you had when this traumatic situation was going on, you feel them now. You are not just Your senses aren't just surrounded, but all of your soul is in that moment, in that time that you get stuck in. The trauma that you get stuck in. So when these repressed memories come up, it's not just, oh man, I remember that and that sucked. It's I am back in it, and fear, despair, abandonment, neglect, abuse, abuse, all those are I'm there again, and I'm just as helpless as whatever situation, whatever age in life I was when that happened. It's a bear. It's tough. And one of the things I was talking to Dr. Davis about is, you know, I just want to be free of those times. And she seems to think as this goes on, there's, all these repressed things will come up, and it's wonderful because she's a great support system that I can deal with. Um, or that helps me deal with, not I can deal with, that helps me deal with these situations. And, she said something yesterday. It was, um, I hadn't thought of, and it was really encouraging. I actually forgot it until I was talking to my wife earlier today, and without going into too much detail, she said, if these people, and Damari and Gabriella and Candace and Nora will get the sarcasm in my these people thing. If these people think and have told me my whole life that I'm just such a worthless piece of shit, why do they need me so much now? If I'm not worth anything, why do you need me now? And I literally sat back and I said, okay, you are right. Um, and I think that's hard, for people who have never dealt with trauma, and for people that have dealt with trauma. Um, you know, I explain it for those that haven't, and for those that have, I hope to give some sort of voice for maybe somebody in their life that doesn't understand the trauma that they're dealing with now in present tense. Is the hard part is no matter it's unfortunate mine happened in my childhood. It's happened in those early development years. But I know people that have gone through trauma later on in life. What people don't understand is the incident is over, but the scars not only run deep, they control who you are in the present. Um, Most of the times you face a trauma where you feel extremely vulnerable, vulnerable to the point that there is no blanket of safety. Um, and I mean safety for your well-being and for your physical being. Um, the other thing about trauma is you have a huge amount of despair. Uh, the catch 22 is you never want that feeling. You never want to feel that feeling. And then on the flip side, you're scared that if your loved ones know how much you're hurting, they're going to leave you, and they're going to look at you like uh, you, you're weak. And that's the other part of the bipolar, as well as the cause of bipolar, as well as the result of PTSD for myself and for millions, literally millions of other human beings occupying this planet, is you become scared to make real connections with people because you only see yourself as damaged. You don't. That's why to the outside, someone can tell you you have survived and thrived, but all you see in the mirror is like you look at a cracked mirror or a funhouse mirror, and that's how you see yourself. You just see yourself as damaged, and in the back of your mind, that's a lie. In the front of your mind, you will never let any of the guards down that you've put up, because you have a I shouldn't say you, because and I'm getting better about this with the therapy and the treatment. We have this fear that for as together as you view us, if we let you in to be close to us, um, you're gonna see how damaged we are, and you're not gonna want to be with us either, and it's just gonna be one more person that we loved, because this is what makes it trauma, as opposed to if you meet a stranger that's an asshole, so what? You don't really care. If someone close to you that claims to love you and you love, family, friend, significant other, does that, it hurts. It hurts deep. So you will do whatever it takes to not feel that pain. So if not feeling that pain means you put walls and barriers up, um, and sort of just sleepwalk through friendships and relationships in life, then so be it. That's what the trauma does to you. Which is unfortunate, because what I'm learning, I'm not going to act like I've known this the entire time. What I'm learning is, you know, we view the traumas as our fault, and they're not. We didn't control the circumstances about them, but we've been led to believe, usually by the abuser or the situation at hand or someone else coming in, that we had something to do with it. So we carry that guilt, for lack of a better term. And there's this fear that if anyone gets too close to us, they're just going to see how damaged we are and they're going to leave. So instead of me getting hurt, I'm going to be proactive and just be closed off. This way, when they leave, I'm not going to be affected by it. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Um, and I'm just learning now, and that's why I've been so public about my diagnosis. Is I'm me. This is it. This is all I got. I am 2 days actually from my 1 year anniversary for my stress-induced heart attack. I'm not going there again. Um, and I understand that now. So if someone wants to view me as weak because I openly talk about being bipolar, openly talk about PTSD, I also openly talk about working out, and nobody gives a rat's ass about that as far as in a negative connotation. I don't understand why I'm supposed to be quiet in fixing all of me, internally and externally. But if someone wants to view me as weak, or pity, or I'm not as good as I'm not as shiny a penny as the rest, that's on them. That's on them now. I'm me. So I know when I get a text. I know when someone sends me a Facebook message. I know when someone calls me. I know it's so weird that we live in a society that calling is below the social media contacts. When someone calls me, I am confident. I know that that person wants to talk to me, because I'm me. I'm not hiding anymore. I'm not keeping walls up. If you don't want to be around, cool. I don't. I'm not losing sleep. If someone's unfriended me on any of the social media sites, I'm gonna let y'all on a little secret. I have no idea. I don't check that. I don't know how many friends or likes or whatever I get or on whatever social media site or who's following me, whatever the term is. I don't know the number of people. I'm sorry if that makes me a dick, but I just don't. It's not that serious. And on the flip side, I have no idea. If like someone was talking about, oh, so and so deleted me, this and that. I was like, I have no idea if somebody deletes me. I don't have an account. I don't care. If someone wants to jump off, jump off. So you want to jump on and be witness to this journey to greatness? Come on. We'll ride together. I gotten that, I'm on my social media sites. Every morning I try to put something inspirational that comes from my brain, usually right before I go to sleep, and I put it in my phone to remember the next day. And today's was dead on about that because that was how I was feeling after the EMDR session and headed to the gym. Is I kind of feel like, you know what, if people didn't want to starve with you when the bad times are going on, they don't deserve to feast with you when the good times are going on. And that's how I feel. You don't want to be ride or die? Cool. Then don't. But you're just not going to be fake in front of me, and you're not going to be fake with me around. Um, so, learning about that as I'm dealing with the PTSD and getting a better handle on the bipolar, and I have to be honest, this week was probably the biggest test since starting therapy and starting the medication, as far as hitting a crash, hitting a low that somewhat started in my own brain. Which, when you're bipolar, that's what happens. It starts in your own brain, or some one minor thing will just tip your tank to empty, and there's nothing you can do. This whole week, I was just like, okay, this is a horrible situation, but I'm not the world is ending. And that was nice. As weird as that sounds, it was a nice feeling to know, okay, I know the exact reason why I'm down. I know the exact reason why I'm upset. It's not the whole world it's not the whole world hates me. And that's what happens when you're on the depression side of bipolar. Everybody hates you. Nobody wants to be around you. Everybody's talking about you behind your back. Um, People looking at you like you are just not worthy, and that's what happened. That's what our brain does to us. With the help of the medication and the tools that Dr. Davis has given me, I just knew it was bad because of this repressed memory. It didn't mean the rest of the, I didn't. I still go to the gym every day. I didn't walk around and sulk like, okay, I'm gonna go running because I have to. But no, I knew what it was at every moment. I knew what the problem was. I knew, I told Demar, I said, I apologize for lashing out. It's because of this. It wasn't, and before with the depression part of bipolar, something just went down. I didn't know what caused it. I just knew that I hate the world, the world hates me. So there was a silver lining in a large cloud this week, and that was how I reacted and how I handled it. And I urge anybody um, that's watching this, whether you yourself have been diagnosed with bipolar or PTSD or depression, or you have a loved one that's depressed, a loved one that's diagnosed with either one of those, you know, if you're someone that's on this journey, one, reach out. I'm always here. We can talk. We can compare treatments. We can go. You can ask me any question about EMDR you want. I'll answer it. I love it. But if you're going through it, hold close those people around you. And to be honest, it's usually the first people you're lashing out at. If you're not sure who's ride or die, and who's standing by you through hell or through heaven. Look at the first 3 or 4 people you lash out during the depression part of the bipolar. Um, when it's going through hell and you just want to curl up in the fetal position, those I'm 100% guaranteeing you those are the ride or die people. And I say that because they're always there when you're lashing out. If your loved one, uh, caretaker, parent, child of, this is gonna sound absolutely like a GI Joe PSA, knowing half the battle, or NBC, the more you know PSA thing. Just hug them. If they're going through something, if they're going through the depression part of it, what to you may be a small gesture will absolutely uplift someone's soul. You know somebody's going through hell and they're just lashing out at you, and you know they like ice cream, stop and get them some. You know they like sweets, stop and get them one of those little ice cream cakes from the grocery store. And just say, I love you. Nothing else needs to be said. And the instant reaction may not be the one you think. It may be a little lashing out, but they're going to. We know in that moment that when hell was going on, someone thought enough of me to do something, to let me know I wasn't alone. And it's not a big gesture. It's not a grandiose thing that needs to be done. It's something small. Um, and it's I want to say it was Father's Day of this year. Um, I always tell Damari, I'm like, the kids are going to say they want to get me something. I don't need anything. If they say it, just tell them to make me drawings. Because honestly, you should see our refrigerator. We keep boxes for the kids every school year. We don't throw the kids stuff away because we want to be able to give it to them as they get older. And I tell them, I was like, I truly love their drawings. I just think they're awesome. The fact that they have that creativity spark. And I told them, I was like, just have the kids draw me something. I was like, I don't want them stressing about what to buy me. I understand that I'm probably not the easiest person to buy for. Yes, you can get me Superman stuff, but I don't even want my kids being stressed about it being Father's Day. Let's just be goofy, let's just be silly. They got me DC animated movie Justice League Journey to Atlantis, and uh that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. I've probably watched it maybe a dozen times, and when I say that, I mean each time I do, I make a huge deal to the kids and Damari that I'm watching it. One, they can watch it with me, but two, I need them to understand that's not their gift to me. Their gifts to me aren't just gifts to me; they are imprinted in my heart. Um, and Father's Day, because my dad being gone is sometimes down, and most of the time I usually spend that in a depression valley. So though that little DVD, 18 I don't know, $16 DVD, whatever, Blu-ray DVD is in my heart. So if you're a caretaker for someone that's dealing with some PTSD, that's dealing with bipolar, in my, or they're in my case where it's both, it's not a grand gesture that they need. They need the most personal gesture possible. It's not take them somewhere and then buy and let them buy something. It's okay. You know what they like. You know what's comfort for them. Just give them a little piece of that. And that may be something as goofy as, and I look at my Xbox One, sit down and play a game with them. Not a big deal. Um, and going back to the millions of people that are dealing with bipolar and PTSD, don't give up finding the right help. I'm blessed in the fact Dr. Davis it was a one time finding her. I mean, I've gone to that's the first psychiatrist I've gone to. And she's been wonderful because she's like, we're going to get you through this. Even when I tell her thank you, she's like, don't thank me. I'm just talking. You're doing the work. And that's pretty wonderful. So if you're going through this, um, don't let pride, don't let perceived perceptions from others um, stop you. You owe yourself to love yourself. You taking care of yourself is a right. It is not a privilege. You are entitled to love yourself. You are entitled to feel safe in your own head. And that's hard to hear when you're going through it. And I understand that firsthand. I fought it. Obviously, I had a stress-induced heart attack a year ago. I fought dealing with any of this stuff. Um, so I'm telling you firsthand. I'm not telling you as you know. I've read studies, blah blah blah. I'm telling you somebody that's going through it. I'm not done. I'm at the beginning, and I recognize that. But I have hope now, and hope is not a word I don't I ever not don't that was really bad grammar. Hope is not a word I have used previously in regards to myself, not everything else, but in regards to myself, hope has really not been a word I've used. And it feels at first it felt weird, you know, 2 months into to 2 months, sorry, 2 months into therapy, it feels nice. It feels nice knowing I'm at the beginning of, and I forgive me. I will always come back to this. I will always come back to the 26.2 in Roman numerals, day of my first marathon. It really is like the start of a marathon. You know you have 26.2 miles to go. You know with every single step you're getting closer, but it is a long distance to go. And just like in any of the, I'm looking at the wall, any of the 3 full marathons I've run, and anybody that's ever wanted to run a marathon, I've told them the same thing that I've been told. When you cross that finish line, you're a better and different person than when you started that race. My brain is able to understand I'm at the beginning of this journey, but man, when I get to the end, the dude that that gets there is going to be me, but shiny. Um, I'm gonna have an aura and a halo. All right, maybe not a halo because some of y'all know me from back in the day. But but I will be different and I will be better. And every ache during that journey and every time during a marathon that I've questioned myself, why am I doing this? This is nuts. And oh my goodness, I'm never gonna get this done. And there's this jackass at mile 4 saying you're almost there that I want to punch in the mouth. And some of y'all know I'm not lying when I say that who've run marathons. Um, but when I see that finish line and I cross it, that is what is important, and that is the feeling that's in me. And I can look back and say, okay, that training and those steps and the pain and all that was worth getting to this moment. I am at the beginning of my marathon of getting better. And I know through hell and through a lot of things I got to get through, when I get to the finish line, I will be a lot better, which in turn will make me a better husband, the kind of husband that Damari deserves to have every single day, not just when it's great days and not shutting down when it's bad days, and the kind of father that my children deserve to have all of the time, not just when I'm great, and when I'm bad, I'm just sort of afraid to yell at them, so I'm just kind of quiet. And that's what I'm hopeful for, because I know physically that journey. I know what it's like to go 26. I know what it's like to hit a hill when you're tired and exhausted, and all you know is to keep going. And I'm thankful for that because I understand I've done those physical races to prepare me for this mental race I've just started. This psyche improvement race I've just started. The loving myself part I'm just starting. And I say that My birthday is October 17th. Today's Friday, the September 25th. I'll be 43. That understand for 42 years I've never loved myself, and I'm on this threshold of going, dude, you're pretty okay. Not and I don't mean like a conceit, like because conceit is when you want to say you're better than somebody else, and I'm just me. You do your thing, you do your thing. I think you're beautiful. I think you're beautiful. I think you're beautiful. Your struggle is beautiful. But I'm just saying, me, I'm all right. I'm cool. And I don't think I've ever been able to look at myself. The fact I'm able to look at myself in these video blogs is a huge step. Um, I actually shaved in front of a mirror. I usually just shave in the shower because I hate mirrors, and it's changed. Uh, so I'm really pleased with the journey this is going. I'm not kidding myself. I'm not delusional. I understand it is. There's times I'm going to question. There's times I'm going to question my sanity, just like in marathon. But I only know one thing: keep putting my foot forward. Because if I have to walk, if I have to crawl, because I'm too weak at that moment to run, that's still better than not going anywhere at all or going backwards. And all I got to do is walk and crawl till I feel strong enough again to get up and start running and still put one foot in front. And on that note, I'll end it. Thank you for listening. Feel free to leave comments, and I hope you all are doing well. I keep every one of y'all in my prayers when I say my prayers, and blessings for being given another day in the morning and at night before I go to bed. So stay good, y'all. Much love.